Why, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Good to have you here. Paul Trani going to jump into today's masterclass all about dispersion, distortion, manipulations. Kind of like blowing something up is the idea. So you can see in the thumbnail, hopefully. But I see you now. How's everybody doing? Hello, Cody Bear and Jan. And feel free to say hello. Hopefully Penny Doodles, Michelle, Bliss, awesome. Reverb Mike. Cool. All right, just making sure everything's coming in loud and clear. All right, I got caught in my lip because I got hit with a racquetball racket. So can we just get that out of the way? Yeah, you know whose racquetball racket? My own. Yes, I hit myself in the face because that happens. So just like, please ignore that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll take a look at my workspace and all that good stuff. Let's kind of transition into that. All right. Yeah, who knows if we need more explosions, but basically really how to show you how to distort things to make a cool composite is the goal. Yeah, smacked myself in the face. It is not fun. But here we have a couple images, so we could kind of take any one of these. My keyboard shortcuts are kind of screwed up right now, but anyways, I have a number of images right in here that we could blow up. So it's the whole idea of like something like kind of dematerializing or like disappearing. Not really like the Thanos snap, because I think that's it's already been done, but we'll do something similar. So hopefully everybody's doing well. Sorry, my keyboard shortcuts are, I gotta load them up again, but we will not worry about that. Let's just do something like that, and there we are. Cool. All right, and welcome everyone. So this image isn't too sharp, so when you are picking images, like, okay, we wanna go with a sharp one, kind of like this. She's looking one way, we can kind of have things break off on this side. If you are picking an image, you want to deal with something that has a lot of contrast. So even something like this would work, right? So we have a lot of hard edges that we're going to be able to work with. But yeah, let's go ahead and open up our gradients and throw a background back there real fast. So yeah, racquetball. I'm all about racquetball and squash. Squash is really fun. That's my main sport, is squash lately. But I am in the A-League in racquetball. Not to say I'm very good. It just means that there's not a very big group of people playing. So. And then also people are actually just commenting RB. So RB is, are your initials racquetball? All right, so we could take something like this, right? This is a black and white image, right? We could always kind of swap this out later on, right? But let's turn that into a smart object, shrink it down, and we can do some fun things sort of with the wings here, right? Have them break off. So that is the plan as we take a look at this. And where are we going to get that type of stuff? Well, we can make a lot of it. I personally prefer to use real photos, so I encourage you to do that. There are plugins. You guys know that I use these lovely, like, free stock search. Oh, I do have to log in. Man, I've had some login stuff. There we go. So we could use that. Jump in here. I would just search for rocks or glass. So if I do rocks, right? Anything basic, we're going to be able to find, hopefully for free, right? I'm getting some things in here. So this texture I like a lot, right? We could access that, but we could also jump out to good old Adobe stock. So here we have some rocks as well. So something like this will be perfect. I'm going to get rocks and I'm going to get glass. So just license this. Yeah, Bliss, I was swinging really hard at the back wall over trying to hit it behind me, like over my head, and just cracked myself in the lip. And it was bleeding and all the things. But you know what? I still won, so I'm super proud about that. So we're grabbing our resources from those two resources that I just mentioned. Notice how I have this set to free because, you know, again, anything basic will probably be available in free. I'm also going to do, you know, sort of like broken glass. Right? So right in here, we get some cool stuff as well. I have it sorting by all. Some of these look like they're actually vector. You can use vector. I would love to use vector. But again, this is a Photoshop masterclass. So I always feel bad about anytime I use any other app other than Photoshop. I don't have any dull moments, man. Shoot. I am officiating a wedding actually tomorrow as well. So I hope my lip heals up enough so I can be in front of people and not look too ridiculous. Right, so that's the goal. Right, so we have all this cracked stuff. I do want to show you some inner workings between Illustrator and Photoshop because Illustrator is going to give us, we have a lot of awesome options when we go from Illustrator to Photoshop. So I'm super excited about it. Hopefully you are as well. So you copy and paste and get all the layers. And that's essentially what I want. I'm either going to create a brush in Photoshop, right? That's one goal. Or do a copy and paste from Illustrator and get all of those parts. Okay? Yeah, so that's the plan. Yeah, put some concealer on my face. Yeah, I just don't know. It's like, it's going to look like lipstick. Not that I have, yeah, if you want to wear lipstick, yeah, I'll wear lipstick. I don't have a problem with it. It's going to look like I'm wearing lipstick. And yes, can you Photoshop it out? Yes, after the fact. The point is, I'm going to have it in the video as well. So let's go in here. You see our downloads. We'll grab this. There we go. Boom. This lovely release clipping mask. All these cool effects. Well, yeah, this isn't quite going to work. There's too many, maybe too many little parts. Actually, this will work. Look at how broken up this is. This will actually work out pretty well. So I'll just copy this, bring this into Photoshop. Again, it's all about resources that I'm pulling in, as you can see here. RB, you have a lot of fans here, buddy. That's awesome. So again, we have this angel. Paste this in here, right? We do have the option to paste it in as a smart object or layers. So I'm going to show you a different way to actually do that, but let's just paste this in as a smart object right now to see how this looks. So there we go. Boom. There we have sort of this kind of breaking up. This could work for this image, no problem, right? We could take this, duplicate it, start to paint it out. But what I want to do is take some of this and turn it into a brush, right? So I'm going to make a couple brushes. Does that work for you? We can come down to any one of these little parts and grab a couple of this like random stuff. Let's just grab this chunk right here, okay? So that's what I'm grabbing. We'll do define brush preset. There it is. We'll just call it break one. How is everybody else doing? Just put a big band-aid on it. I thought about like, do I have time to grow just like a really ridiculously long mustache to cover it up? Will that also not be distracting or what? Who knows? All right, so I just made that brush. Let's take a look at it. We'll go into our brushes. You should see it right down here at the bottom. Boom, there it is, right? So we'll select our brush. We'll go into our brush settings, right? We could see that that's obviously not going to work for using our break or whatever these are. So, but basically I'm going to space that out, as you can see. And then I'm going to go into different shape dynamics. So let's actually pull this out. It's going to be easier to see. All right, so take this. Well, shape dynamics, right? We've spaced it out, right? We could start to do a different, like, sort of size jitter. We can do it based on pen pressure as well. Don't really want to do that because I don't want it to look like a brush. What really we want to do is we want to get into scattering. So let's start to scatter that around, right? We could adjust the count to get more. And we could always use pen pressure for the scatter. And we just got to see how that looks. Both axes. All right. We could deal with color dynamics, but I'm probably going to do the color a little bit different. But you could have it bounce between the foreground color and background color. Okay, so I guess we'll just try that. We'll crank that up. Let's look at the count jitter. Let's just kind of see how that looks. And we'll just go with it. Okay, so let's do this. Get this body started. Here's my Wacom. Yeah, so that's what it currently looks like. I'm going to use my lovely Wacom, and you can see that pattern that's currently developing. Yeah, you get it. Doesn't look like it's scattering that much, right? So we could space that out. And we also want to do an angle jitter. So right in here, adjust the angle. Crank that up all the way. And again, we'll just start kind of painting. And that's more along the lines of what we want. So we start to see that break up. So this is pretty cool, right? So we start to see that break up. It's still that flat color, so I'm not crazy about that. Yeah, hopefully I did the jitter on both the axes. Bliss. Both axes. There we go. Cool. So what we could do is we can even take this original image, right? And I can start painting on a mask with that brush. So adding a mask, there it is. Making sure this is set to black, right? And I'm starting to take away, as you can see. And in fact, if I turn that off, you can see we're sort of like removing, right? So we could do that for some of this. Pardon me, it's just going to be easier to see if I change the gradient. Wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Right, we can see what it's doing. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Let's use our Wacom. Right, we can start to eliminate some of this. Right. That's like doing an okay job, but it clearly looks like it's subtracting. Okay. So this is one way to do it. Right. Ultimately, I actually just want to remove this side, this part of this wing. Right. So this is doing an okay job. Right. Just disregard that this doesn't look like that great right now. Sometimes it's going to get worse before it could get better. Let's do this other side right over here. Do something like that. But we do have our brush. Because I'm going to paint on top of this with more stones and breaks and all that fun stuff. And I'm sorry if my title is not... I really struggled with the title of this masterclass. Dispersion and distortion manipulations. Distortion isn't quite the right word. But I didn't want to say explosions, really, for some reason. All right. But again, it's very flat. It's very two-dimensional. You could see as you look in it, oh, looks cool from afar, but when you look up close, like, nah, this doesn't look right, right? So yeah, that's typically where I will even just like duplicate this layer, right? Let's just duplicate it. Because really what we want to do, I'm going to paint some more as well. Let's get rid of a lot of this. A lot. Increase the size a little. There we go. All right. Cool, cool. Let's duplicate it. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. It's Friday. We are off all next week, by the way. Oh, Bliss, you are too kind. You don't need a... You are too kind. All right, so notice how I just filled it with black. So now we have the opportunity to actually paint with that brush to reveal. X will always flip your foreground and background colors. But this is what I want right here. See how much better this looks as I start to paint? Right, it's just revealing that photo. But this already looks like a world better, okay? Yeah, it does. Love the foliage brush. We kind of made our own. I would still use stones and things, by the way. So we're just like kind of getting started. But this actually looks like much better. I can't really see the statue underneath. So let's take a look. Statue. I could always like turn on this layer, just like take it down to like 8%. So you can kind of see what's happening, where that is. But I would use these different parts as like the rocks, right? So we just kind of click. We have, again, just like these different parts that look kind of cool. Looks kind of cool. Kind of depends on that, but that's not bad. Does this have a lot of depth, right? That's the question. I think it does, right? Some people will be like, oh, I want to add depth. I'll go in and add a layer style, and you'll be like, oh, I'll give it a bevel and emboss. Bevel and emboss will, let's reset to default. I think it tends to like flatten out everything because it's going to treat everything with the exact same bevel and emboss. You can try it, right? We can kind of see some of it already right here. See that? Kind of adding that edge. So we just got to be careful with that. When we're using bevel and emboss, that it doesn't make it like flatten it out too much. So let's crank it up. There you go. You can definitely see it now. We want a hard, chisel hard, right? Hard edge. Boom. Yeah, and I don't know what you think. Give it some more depth. Change the angle. So, anyways, we're just playing with this a little bit just to see what happens. I'm adjusting the angle. The depth looks pretty good, but that's kind of what's happening. You guys get the idea, huh? We could get even more crazy because again, maybe we don't want this looking, if it starts to flatten it out, we could try some different things. I always like going in and kind of changing, playing with this, the contour of it. In this case, it's actually just like a little bit extreme because the depth is cranked up so much, right? So maybe that doesn't work. Let's take that back down. I think we have what we want. We could just give it a little bit of depth. We also want to be aware actually of the angle of the light because the light's actually coming from the other side, as I just noticed. So let's put it on the other side. We'll click OK. That adds a little bit of sharpness to it. Sure, why not? Ooh, I thought you was going with 3D app. Yes, heck yeah. I would totally, yeah. I would love to launch into like Stager and use some of that, right? We could render all that stuff out. I'd either use a real photo. I mean, you know, just like any designer, you're using just a plethora of apps, right? So I'd still use Illustrator. Let me actually, gosh, I'm all over the place. But just to show you what is available in Substance 3D Stager, there are a couple things over here, as you can see. A couple things in the models. Let's actually change the view. Hide the basic shapes. There is this splash, and then there are some like crystals and rocks and things in here as well. Where are they? Where are my magic crystals? Oh yeah, there it is. Crystal right at the top. So you can always take these and render them out as well, right? So we have this, we could throw a pattern on it, throw a material on it, and do 1,000 of these if you want to. Why am I using Stager instead of Dimension? I don't know, because honestly, I have access to Stager. honestly, just to be honest with you. Like, it has so much more flexibility when it comes to things. So that's all. So do I have any stonework over here? Yeah, I do. I could take some of this sort of sandstone and drop that on. You guys get the idea, all right? This already looks pretty good, right? So far, so good. We could always change the color in Photoshop, but we copy this, we could paste it, add a second one that's rotated with a different angle. And the cool thing about this is we could really match that. Ooh, we could do so many things. We just do so many things. So many toys, so little time. You're exactly right. Because we could actually take this and turn this into a brush as well. Right? The rendering here. Take it just a couple of these rocks. We will go to environment. We'll turn off the ground. Right? Because again, if I wanted to make this a brush, let's get rid of the ground. Have all these at like different angles and stuff. Different sizes. Kind of broken up. All that stuff. And yeah, that could be sort of our second brush or whatever. Okay, there we are. Copy, paste, move, all that fun stuff. You get the idea. Let's make a smaller one. And let's not forget our lighting. Sure, that looks pretty good. And that's just a quick stager demo. I could have just as easily done that in Dimension, but we made some rocks. Right? The cool thing about this is if I wanted my dispersion or breakup of whatever item to be a rock or a glass, it's kind of easier to change it in here. Right? I'm going to start actually with this. Lovely. We're going to make these rocks. We'll render this out really fast. Wait for it. Let's see how long it will take. Should go pretty quickly. So while that's doing that, I'm gonna be all over the map because we're collecting resources. We've made some cool dispersions out here, right? That's totally working. And again, you can kind of see me click. That's awesome. I would start to duplicate these layers because this would be just like your rocks layer. Make another one, right? And maybe paint a little bit more. So we'll get a sort of a second set of rocks, like so. Move that over. So we have this cluster. We now have this cluster, right? So we maybe have a smaller version, a larger one that's a little brighter, right? And then again, still manipulate that. Throw some levels on it. Hey, you know, make it darker, brighten it up, just to give us that depth that we want. Okay, cool. You got it. Let's turn this off. Let's bring back this one. There it is. Boom, boom. Ba-ba. Bring that in like so. And again, I'm still not crazy about this. So let's clean it up. I did all these settings, by the way. Brush settings. Let's just go ahead and save this. New brush preset. Break apart. There we go. I really want to actually paint with, kind of just get rid of, I could have actually used my selection tool. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe? I don't know. Oh, sorry about that. Stick with the hard rounds. There we go. We just gotta get rid of some of this. Some of that was kind of cool dust. I'm kind of deciding whether I want it or not. But rather than me kind of like using this dust, there are also a ton of brushes, so you don't really have to make your own. Maybe some motion trails. Bruce, you know what I'd love to add is depth of field. So I want, like, especially if this was like a closer up scene, make it closer, just like my thumbnail showed for this. Give it like a closer crop and have some rocks really large in your face that are blurred out. So that's the goal there. Okay. So let's go back in here. Just so you know these wonderful concept brushes. These are from Kyle T. Webster. You can select this one. I'm not sure the name of it. It's these spatter brushes. Right, this could make good dust. And I bet you, let's actually see. Let's see if there's a dust. Oh, boom. There is some dust in here. I don't know if I made these or what. But again, we could just kind of throw a little bit of dust or darkness in there, as you can see. For this dust, by the way, let's go into our brush settings. Let's go into, excuse me, color dynamics for this, right? And we could do, excuse me, bounce between the foreground and the background. So have this dust be like different speckles from, black to white or like a dark gray to white. So let's just kind of take a look at it. We'll paint down here. We can see what it's doing. It's giving us all these fun speckles. So that's just going to work out better for us. It's almost too bright. So let's, actually, that's a good point. I don't want to pick colors at random. I really want to sample from the lightest color in here. It's all coming from the statue. Sample the lightest color there. And then the darkest color as well. So that's where we want to get our colors. Looks like it's true black, but it's also an off, like a grayish. But let's just kind of jump in and paint, adjust the size. We're just painting. You can hardly even see it. In this case, maybe I would blur this out a little. So yeah, fun with brushes. I guess I didn't realize how much brushing I would do today. Here's just a spatter brush from Kyle T. Webster. And then some of these. Let's kind of just play with some of these brushes. Just to see what we get. I guess the key thing is you want to have as much variety as you can get. But again, we're just building out the base here. The biggest problem is still this part. So let's go down to the brush that we made. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. My name is Paul, and I'm just having some fun today, huh? Just having some fun. Breaking that up a little bit more. All right. We're getting there. We are slowly getting there. But again, good things take time. We're just kind of working from the back forward with the dust, maybe the medium-sized sort of broken rocks, and then we'll do the larger ones, which will be coming in a second. All right. Did you download the new Summer 22 brush set? I have not yet. No, and I saw Kyle. I saw him push them out there, and I have not downloaded them yet. I really want to. Personally, I've been like making my own brushes in Illustrator, which has been a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, use whatever tool you can. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the map. I'm currently using 3 different tools in here to make this. Let's just crop this 3,000. 6. Let's go 4. There we go. That's a little better. Take all of our layers. Move it over. Let's get an even tighter crop. And thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Like, you guys are the best part of my week. It's like, hey, I'm an extrovert. I'm just happy to talk to people. I'm so happy to be here and chat with you. You know what? Let's not do that, because I actually might need... we're about the cropping later. You're also a brush. Bliss says they're a brush hoarder. Tell me about it. I mean, yeah, there's quite a few in here. Summer 2021 I have in there. Yeah, all about it. Okay, so this is not bad. Let's make sure all this is kind of squared away. We're going to have our dust. We have our statue. This is our original statue, so we'll just bring that down. I'll sometimes even take those and throw them in a separate folder. We'll just call it something really descriptive like stuff. So there that is. Move that up. I don't even know what some of this stuff is. Oh, yeah, that's... what is this? Oh, yeah, this is what I pasted from Illustrator. This is pretty cool, but it does look like glass. Do I want this to be glass, or do I want this to be stone? Right? So this is more like broken glass. And again, we'll just put that in our stuff. Like that. There we go. We're doing well. We have our rocks, our bigger rocks. This has so far been our like most successful sort of rocks, but let's still bring in some others, because what did we have? We have some rocks here that we kind of cut out and use. So take that. You got to be really exact when you're selecting these. Just kidding. You don't. Just grab some of this stuff, Just grabbing some rocks. Let's see what we got. We got this. We got this. Let's close that one. Save our file. There we go. See those big rocks? Look at that. It's so fancy. Right? So we can compare these two. Right? This is compositing like 101. First off, we notice this, the color is off. We could tell that this actually has, I don't know, can you guys kind of tell that it has some green in there? If you're not sure, you can always go add some hue and saturation. You could crank up the saturation. And you could tell, yeah, that does have, like I said, had some blue in it. You could see my statue is totally black and white. So all that means is I just need to go to this layer, and I could either remove the color altogether, or I could even add some color to the statue. I think that's for another day. But I do, even for black and white, I think this would be better if it had some range of colors from like a steel blue to like a taupey color, right? So do you really want to remove all that color? Yeah, maybe not. I'll actually jump up here, add this hue and saturation layer, maybe take that saturation all the way down, do something like that. Let's just do. But anyways, contrast, stuff like that, same thing. Command L brings up levels. We used to say all the time, don't work destructively. Like I sometimes work destructively. I'm just saying. Let's actually use brightness contrast. We'll take down the contrast just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right. Yeah, that was a very long-winded. Let's just have some fun, shall we? Let's even take some of our other rocks. So we kind of worked with this. This looks pretty good. So we can take some other parts. make some more brushes. I think you guys get the idea. I kind of want to like, yeah, I'm just ready kind of like to move on. But more rocks. Adjust the levels. Give it more contrast. Notice how I have this turned on, because a lot of times if you're working with color, great. Crank up the hue and crank up the saturation to see the differences in color. If you're dealing with lights and shadows, you want to remove all the color, and then it's just like easier to see the contrast and see if the stones are actually matching. Like we kind of see that, you know, maybe this one is matching, maybe it isn't. Nonetheless, we're doing good. I'm just gonna Command J, move that over. You guys get the idea. All right. You got it. I can turn this into a brush. All that fun stuff. Let's break this up some more. Call this rocks. All right, let's have some fun with this. Cool. Destruction. All right, so now I want to actually take some elements from this. That's the idea, right? Ooh. Let's like grab some parts of this, like actual chunks. Let's grab some chunks of this. Maybe not like that. Make sure it looks like a stone, Paul, huh? Something kind of like that. Maybe grab this part over here, right? This over here. Maybe move it a little bit. Take this part. Actually, you know what I want to do is I want to take this big chunk, mask it. Boom. Let's turn on everything else. Bring it back. Bring it back. There we go. Let's paste in. We downloaded another rock. Here we go. Boom. Even better. Use law to disperse this. What is that an acronym for? Let me know, RB. Would love to hear what you mean by law. Okay, for this, new image, properties, unlock, remove background, copy it, big rock, thing is huge. And there we go, we're just doing our thing. This one's a little much. It's almost kind of like the wrong style. All right. Okay, so what I was going to do here is I was going to take our lovely little friend, add a new layer. Yeah, why not? Let's just take this. Rocket. New brush. Done. Just made another new brush from that rock. Let's go to this little wing and flip it. Oop. Flip it again. There we go. Make sure... Ooh, that needs more contrast. That's okay. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm actually adding a new brush that gives me even more control. So I'm going to say, hey, you know, let's go to the shape dynamics. I'm only going to just like click a couple times. Oh, don't really need the roundness jitter, but angle jitter, there we are. I don't know. So I'm just kind of trying to make this look like a little more random. And there we have it. Cool. Cool. Let's move this stuff around some more. Bring that up here. And grab our rocks. Grab our rocks from... Oh, what do we got? I got 15 minutes. Grab our rocks from Adobe Substance 3D Stager. We also made these ones. Remember? Like 20 minutes, 30, it seems like a day ago we made these ones. Remember? So long ago. All right, gonna go ahead and use these as well. Copy. Drop it in. Yeah, you certainly are bright. You know what? I'm just gonna remove. Let's get rid of that color. Make it a smart object. Shrink it down. Anytime I start to adjust the size, I will make it smaller. These ones, so we have some different sizes now. These ones are like, I don't know, they're almost too angular, but that's okay. So I'm getting less picky now that I just want to get this done. Anybody else been there? We have so much going on. Let me show you one more thing. So I feel like this is looking pretty good. Let me go to turn that off. Let me just like, yeah, move this around a little bit more. Command J, select those layers. Grab that, move that down there. Put it underneath everything else. Right, have that break apart over there. Let's take these rocks too. Shrink that down. Just talking to myself. Put that. Yeah, that's okay. Kind of like that. Okay, cool. You want to adjust the size. The size. We are getting somewhere now. Have that break apart a little bit. So all I'm doing is just doing a command click to find those layers that I want. Remember, I still have this dust here as well. Let's take that dust. Let's move it up here. Throw some dust. I'm basically doing the other wing, as you can see. And I want to break something apart. I want to shatter something with glass. I'm going to show you this cool thing I'm going to do in a second. So that's doing its thing. Okay, so actually before I get into the glass example, let's take a look at these rocks. So we have these. Let's duplicate that again. Maybe we'll rotate them and make them larger. Like we said before, we want to kind of like add some depth. So give me 1 second. Make these really huge. Not crazy about these ones, but that's okay. All right, let's rasterize. Cut these out. We'll just take these 4 rocks. Again, the rocks are not perfect. Maybe we'll keep these two on their own plane. All right, smart object, smart object, smart object. Take the rock that's in the front. This one right here, right? These two. And we'll just give these like a nice blur. So, a little Gaussian blur. Do you say Gaussian or Gaussian? But there, we want something like that. These are like really in front. We could do something like that. I don't know, this is going to take some playing with, right? But again, this is where we're adding our depth. So we'll add it there, right? I want to throw that in here too. Hey, I can just hold down Option, drag it, boom, right? Before the second one, I actually do want it to be different. So let's take that down. That's this rock here. That one's like a little bit blurrier, maybe at a different angle. They all seem like they're at the same angle. Something kind of like that. Option, drag. I'm working on this one now as well. So this one, again, can be rotated differently. Back over there. Adjust the blurriness, like so. And again, just kind of move those off to the side. They're exploding, and as it's exploding, as they get like further away, they're gonna get larger and blurrier and Gaussian. All right. Cool. All right, you guys get the idea. We added a little bit of depth. Still need to I think doing an option drag is just like so easy for applying the same effect. Kind of a little bit faster. All right, so we're dealing with these right over here. Making those a little blurrier. Cool, you guys get the idea. Right? Still a lot of tweaking needs to take place to make this happen, make it look good. More in the background way back there, right? We could add those. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. We're just having some fun today. Even for these speckles, let's add another layer of these speckles. You can see right here, this dust. Make that a smart object. And again, throw our blur on it. And I've just blurred out those little dots. Like that will be clear back there in the background. There we go. Put it behind. You guys get the idea, huh? Cool, cool. Yeah, so the depth of field really works out pretty well. If you are unsure how to kind of apply the blur, you could always use something like Stager. And honestly, you could set a lot of this up in Stager. You know, get a model. Like we have this set up, by the way. You could see just like top view. This, you know, this rock might be in front of everything else, right? And then for our camera, let's add our camera. Our camera can have a depth of field. So right in here, that's what I'm adding. Set a focus point, click, increase the blur amount, and then turn on ray tracing. So I just added this depth of field, right? You know, that just works in Substance 3D Stager for me, right? So all I did is set the focus point. I can set it on this front one, and then I'll blur out the other ones accordingly. So that works out pretty well. Oh no, I got to get to my glass version. Oh, let me show you this example. I spent so much time on this. Glass, and I don't even know where it is. Maybe it's in here. No. Wait for it. Wait for it. A broken glass photo effect. Interesting. Give me 1 second. Ooh, shatter. That's what it's called. Not glass, shatter. Let me show you this real fast. So check this out. Like, let's say I have a photo. Looks like I've already done a lot of this work. But I have a photo, and I want to, like, shatter it. That's what I want to do here. Just like I was doing before, I did a copy and paste of, you know, these little particles. That works out fine. This is just a different file. Notice how each one of these parts is its own shape. So I can select everything. I can copy it. Let's just turn that off. And paste it in here. So we'll paste it this time. And you know what? Go ahead and give me all of those individual shapes on their own layers. So that's what I'll do. Click OK. Everything's going to come in. You can see all those multiple colors, right? But that's where it gives us this lovely folder now. It's like, okay, let's actually ungroup. But now I have all those individual layers. Ooh, it looks like I had... Ooh, this is what's even more impressive. Check this out. It even retained the blend modes in here. Oh, that's fascinating. So yeah, there's some blend modes in here on some of these objects. So that's what's happened, right? Cool. I'll just take all those. Let's change these to normal. But let's just go ahead and do that glass effect really fast as I get down to my last couple minutes. Model. Let's do models. Duplicate it. Oh, this is so many layers, but such is life. Here we go. We have this. We can... this is just kind of crazy. But let's locate this green one. Too many layers. Turn her on. Right, we'll clip her just to that one path. Right. Wait for it. Actually, let's just double check. Where the heck is that? Right there. Okay, wrong one. This one. Hey, we'll just have that part of her face appear in this little piece of glass. Move that to the top, to the very top. Turn that off. Right. Anyways, it's a lot of work, but basically I have this shard of glass. Okay. From that shard of glass, yeah, I could throw sort of like a bevel and emboss on it if I want to. Right, like we were doing earlier. You guys get the idea. What you'll end up with, at least what I was doing in here, is adding that all of these clipping masks on these paths. I could even make that a vector mask. So again, but I'm only halfway through this, but all these are individual little pieces, right? Wait 1 second. And again, just something I'm still working on. Let's select this. See, this is an individual little piece, and you guys get the idea. So anyways, that's just like something I'm working on. I could actually take this if I didn't want to have, because look at how many layers I end up with. You could actually take this layer. Let's actually option click. We'll zoom in on it. This is the piece we're dealing with. And make that a vector mask. There we go. We have it selected. Oh, or do I have it selected? There it is. And that's what I would do. All right, so you guys get the idea. I'm still going to work on this, but thanks so much for hanging out with me. We kind of did a pretty good job with this today and the amount of time that we had. I really appreciate you guys. And yeah, so this is coming along well. But this is, you know, it's just a lot of work. You know, it's, you know, I'm just creating stuff. That's all. Creating stuff takes time. So give him some more time to work on this. I personally think what would be really cool, as I take a look at it, you ready for next level ideas? Underneath her face, underneath this stone woman, what if there's actually a real person? So maybe it actually starts to break away some of her face to reveal some real skin underneath. So I might think about doing that, just like on her arm, right? We can have that break apart just to kind of reveal her arm. I could have it reveal actually a real wing. So hey, next level ideas, super fun. But I just appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. And yeah, just appreciate you guys. So thanks for hanging out. We're out all next week. But yeah, I'm still going to be working on Adobe Max content because that's going to be coming up. And yeah, hopefully you guys are into it. Hopefully you can kind of get signed up or at least watch online. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you guys more than you know. We'll see you all soon. Stick around for Terry White's Masterclass next. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.